In this video, I'm going to tell you about MinIO's betrayal, the so-called open source business model that everybody is bloody following these days. I'll tell you about their latest betrayal and their path to commercial success, which started with license changes and now complete feature pullaways from the open source product, making it completely unusable for normal people or small teams that cannot or will not afford it. Hello, my name is Chavdar. I'm a director of engineering at my current company. I've been a software engineer for 11, 12 years. I have been a MinIO evangelist for the longest time, man. Ever since I started using AWS, MinIO has been right there by me. I never spin up an S3 raw. I instead always start with MinIO and take it up from there. Every single one of my projects that requires storage starts with MinIO and pre-installed. Even with their license changes back in the day, it was the clear winner, man, and now they really went and fucked us. Boys, the open source stays winning, not it. I am so disappointed, and I'm gonna tell you everything. So, where do we start with this one? Well, first off, what is MinIO? If you're not familiar with S3 or AWS, why are you watching this video in the first place? But hey man, I'll tell you very quickly about it. So AWS Cloud Hosting Service, their storage platform is S3, and if you're working with Azure, the name is Blob Storage. I've never worked with Azure, so take it with a grain of salt or let me know in the comments. Essentially, S3 is a storage space. It has containers called buckets, and you put stuff in them, just like a bucket. The thing is, AWS and S3 and DevOps in general is kind of a pain in the ass to set up, so everybody, including myself, prefer the easy route. And the easy route here is obviously just go and pick up an open source solution that replicates whatever is going on in the cloud before you start paying money to the cloud provider, and you set it up locally yourself. And S3 has been an incredible value add for these kinds of solutions, and oftentimes people end up migrating from the local open source solution to paying for the open source solution in their production builds, just because the features are good enough, the support is good enough. They want to support open source development because it helps them so much, and it's a way to return to the people. This is where I stand. This has been the big reason why I have always advocated for open source solutions, and primarily MinIO, which, man, when I heard the news, oh my God, okay, breathe. So it started where all of these open source products start rolling down the hill by changing a license and starting to push people slowly towards the commercial version of the open source product by changing from Apache to AGPL, which essentially says you cannot make money off of our product. That's the long story short. In legalese, what it means is that AGPL, the license that they switched over to, is a copyleft license, meaning that any products using software licensed under a copyleft license need to also be licensed under said permissive copyleft license, which means that you essentially have to make your product open sourced. How do you make an open source product make money? Well, I guess keep on reading, because MinIO is doing exactly this. Anyway, the point is that you start pushing people that are making money off of your product to start paying you some revenue. Pretty innocent, but this is always the first step. So a couple years roll by. Couple license disputes roll by as well. MinIO trying to sue people to essentially extract some more money off of them and slapping people on the wrist for, you are not following my license appropriately, naughty boy. If you want to hear more about those lawsuits, honestly, go listen to a lawyer. All of this information was fed to me by ChatGPT and my lawyer. So what happened now? They went and started pulling features from the community edition, primarily the admin UI, which doesn't mean that you cannot interact with your storage through the console, but you cannot do it through a visual, like a UI. For that, you have to pay money. Oh, we love money. All of us love money, don't we? This was MinIO's plan, to start pushing developers gentlier into the downhill of monetization for open source products. Yeah, I was just reading an article trying to refresh my memory on exactly what was said. Let me just, I want to quote this for you, okay? This is from the creator of MinIO. We initially explored a basic admin UI for the community branch, but haven't actively maintained it. building and supporting separate graphical consoles for the community and commercial branches is substantial work. Honestly, it is hard to duplicate this work for the community branch. Poor community open source. Honestly, it is hard to duplicate this work for the community branch. A whole team is involved in console development alone, including design, UX, front-end, back, da-da-da-da-da. Excuses and excuses on top of newer and newer excuses. Brother, I have been a software architect for, honestly, as long as I can remember myself. Do you know how many console projects I've handled? I've lost count. Because so many of them were thrown out in the bin. I love working for corporate, man. I love corporate so much. But let me finish my point, which is console tooling is not hard. UI is not hard. You know what is hard? Organizing your project in such a way that you're able to maintain features accordingly. It comes down to building software in a reliable way, where you have the features that you need at the bottom layer, and then you start adding additional features on top of them, usually through connectors called API, which then plug in to other new functions that you want to make. And maybe this hand is the open source part, the community edition, and this part is the paid for partition. And then it goes all the way down, because your common features at the very bottom, your storage functionality, it is what it is, man. It's the storage functionality stays at the bottom, and then your paid for features or whatever you're selling and making money off of goes in this API, and the free goes in this API. And if you are mad about this, please let me know in the comments. I would love to have a proper discussion with you, because man, project after project, I have been convinced what the creator of MinIO says here, it is bollocks. Bullshit in English. That is just man, I am so pissed off. Further down in this article, which I'm going to link in the description, you can go read it for yourself, the creator also says, hey, we need to be very careful. There's security implications to this. And I will refer you back to a couple of seconds ago where I explain how software should be built. Don't be mad, but let's be honest here. This is just, you need to make an explanation. More often than not, it is tech debt pushed by different people, and this isn't the only story that we've heard of. This happens in video games where developers say, we cannot have a game that runs offline. Oh no, we need to have connection to the servers for improved user quality, blah blah blah. In reality, what do they want? They want your data. Data. And no piracy for video games, but that's a different topic for another time. Man, my jimmies are really rustled by this, especially because this has a real implication on all of my projects now. I have 3 at the moment that are using MinIO for the use case that I mentioned earlier, where we need to have storage, and I don't want to pay AWS, nor do I want to handle AWS complexity with deployment, scaling, blah, blah, blah. I just want to do it on a single machine, locally, and then I can do it in a testing environment, and I can do it nicely and cleanly and peacefully. And once the project is ready to either make money or is more often than not thrown in the bin, yet again, hello corporate, we can decide what to do, and we might decide to fork over the extra money to pay S3. The reality of software development, especially in corporate, is that most projects that start hate copyleft licenses, obviously. So your lawyer is either going to pester you about the copyleft tool that you have. And this is causing some problems for me too, as well, because at the moment I have multiple different projects that are relying on MinIO for storage purposes for the reasons explained previously, where I do not want to pay a DevOps engineer. I do not want to maintain AWS or S3 or anything else. I just want things to work out of the box while I focus on the primary core functionality of the tool. Make sure that it doesn't get binned. Thank you, corporate, yet again. And only then I can sit down and figure out, hey, what am I actually using for storage here? It might be S3 because they're offering me a better product, or it might be something else. It might just be S3 or another tool. There is multiple alternatives. I haven't decided what I'm switching over to yet, but I know I am not sticking to MinIO because I hate supporting developers like this. I hate this double talk. I hate this hypocrisy. But Shavdar, you might say, you work in corporate. Doesn't corporate have infinito money? Brother, no. Most, if not all of my projects that start have a budget committed to them. that is mostly developer salaries, and then a very, very, very tiny pocket of money for cloud. And more often than not, non-existent. The cloud budget is only a recent addition, and I've worked for some pretty big companies. Those guys, I don't know, man. I don't know what's up with allocating budget for cloud. People don't seem to be a big fan of it. Anyway, the point is that when you're starting a project, especially an R&D project, and I am an R&D developer for over a decade now, man, nobody gives us fucking any money, man. Just they pay our salary, and then the rest of it you have to figure it out on your own. Hence why I have a big self-hosted home lab over here, because I need to figure all of this shit out, and I need to know what to propose to the developers. Anyway, the point that I'm getting at here is that you need to have full feature lists for your tools, at least common basic feature lists. Okay, I'm not asking for the stars here. Okay, I'm not asking for this to be hosted for me for free. I am just asking for it to work and not have a copyleft license, because there is no way in hell a big corporate company is licensing anything as AGPL unless it's doing it for publicity, and they don't do very much of that lately. That business model seems to be dead in the water, brother. Anyway, by having stripped down feature lists, especially for bloody engineers, do you know juniors? And if you're a junior, I'm really sorry, but the juniors I've worked with, they hate the console. People look at the black screen and they're like, ah, Chapter, are you a wizard? What is this? I'm like, it's the console, brother. I don't know what to tell you. It just works. And it does everything for me. But then MinIO goes and pulls the UI from under me, and then I'm like, well, that's a great excuse to make people to start using the console, or just switch over to another tool that has everything built in. You know what I mean? Like, the vibes are just different. Anyway, the point that I'm getting at here is that a lot of these projects just are dead in the water. There is no feasible solution and no feasible path even for me to make a case to give money to MinIO if I cannot use it fully and functionally myself, locally, to deploy a basic skeleton, to pour concrete, before I am able to go with the final feature list and give the total cost of this tool before we take it into production proper. Man, ain't nobody got time for this. I'm just gonna switch over to something else. Or I will just go with storing data, Parquet or whatever locally. It's just... Anyway, this is all I have for you today. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one, brother. See ya. Bye.